to the Prophecy Club. We are going to be talking about these mind-controlled shooters. What is going on out here? Yes, I know there's all kinds of conspiracy theories flying around out there. And you may be saying, why didn't you come up with this information a little bit faster? Well, the answer is, I need a research. As a matter of fact, I need a couple of things. So if you're interested in being a part of the Prophecy Club to some degree, who knows how much it could work out to be, maybe even full-time position, then here's two things I need. And if you're interested, send me an email at askstan@prophecyclub.com, askstan@prophecyclub.com. First thing is, I need researchers, and that's plural, people that are good at scanning the internet, finding things, researching things for news articles, for information for a radio program, and guests. Second thing is, I need someone that can help our broadcast reach more people via the new social media that at 64 years old, frankly, I don't understand, and frankly, I don't have the time or the desire to understand it. I'm not on Facebook. Now, Prophecy Club is. I'm not on Facebook. Don't want to be. I'm not on LinkedIn. Don't want to be. Don't want to understand that. Sorry, but I'm in another generation. But I know that there's a lot of people that can be reached by these new social medias and other things. So I'm looking for an expert that can help Prophecy Club to reach out to people and to reach people via that way, because it used to be in the 90s, maybe even the 2000s, early 2000s, one of the best ways to reach people was being on over-the-air radio. But now with social media, many times you can reach as many, maybe even more people via social media. So I'm looking for someone to help us there. If you're interested, email me, askstan@prophecyclub.com. So today we're going to be talking about these mind control shootings again. We've done some research on it, and that's part of the reason it took us a while to come up with this, because we, as I said, need people to help us researching. All right, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read these, I think it's 10 points that give us the shooter's pattern. Okay, the shooter's pattern is what I'm going to call this. Then I'm going to read through some of the facts of some of these shootings. And after I read each one of the stories, then I'm going to ask you, is this a mind control? Is this a shooter pattern? Is this something that could be organized by a secret group that's going around the country with the hidden agenda of, after people get tired of getting shot at and killed, they'll eventually say, let's repeal the Second Amendment. Let's just collect all the guns. Okay, I believe that's where they're really going. So, first of all, the pattern. Now, I'll read it twice because there's 10 points to it. But then we're going to read some of these shooters and their patterns and see if they match up. Okay, here we go. First of all, they attack our safe places. Oh, we hear comments like, this is a quiet town. Or they tend to be lone gunmen, because a group is far more difficult to coordinate via mind control, but not impossible. The targets tend to be random with little or no connection to the victims. There's no motive, and of course they don't want a motive. That way people say, well, how do we stop this? Well, if there's a way that they can stop it short of collecting the guns, they'll do that. So in that it has no motive, the gunman has little or no reason to kill the victims, no discernible pattern, then it concludes, well, there's no way to stop this other than getting the guns. We gotta just collect the guns. Number 5, usually a nice guy or a loner. Not necessarily in that case, and if he has a female, she generally knows nothing about it. 6, all seem to be active on social media. 7, they self-destruct. They kill themselves or commit suicide by police, but never surrender to the police. 8, the calls for gun control start immediately. Many times complicated bills which would take perhaps months to write, all of a sudden immediately are introduced, and now they're calling to repeal the Second Amendment. 9, gun purchases of the shooter are often recent purchases as opposed to purchases over the years, and they also almost all have a lot more guns and a lot more ammo than they would ever need to do the shooting. Again, it's really an attack on our Second Amendment, our right to own and control guns. Then 10, how come this is not happening in Canada or Mexico or Europe or England? Why is it only happening in America? Now, they're going to say, well, it's because we have the guns. Well, they have guns too, and bad people can get guns there too. And I'm going to say that I believe it is MK Ultra mind control program. Now, not every case. I know that. I understand that, and you do too. But today, we're going to look at how many of these could be some kind of mind control. Now, briefly, the Republican ballpark shooting, July 14th, 2017, James T. Hodgson on Facebook, and his family and friends were shocked to find out he committed such a heinous act. Steve Scalise Republican ballpark shooting was injured and almost killed. He had both a handgun and rifle, which points to confiscating both, of course. The question we have to ask here is, what if the mind control team's plan was really to kill all of the Republicans at the ballpark, and hopefully that number would be 5, 10, maybe even 15. Then 2.5 months later comes Las Vegas, and all of a sudden America says, we got to repeal the Second Amendment. We got to get rid of all these guns. Then October 1, of course, Las Vegas, Stephen Paddock shot from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Hotel for 9 to 11 minutes, killing 58 people, wounding 527, and it's the deadliest shooting in U.S. history. He has 47 fully loaded guns with high-capacity magazines in a hotel and 2 homes. And people are saying, well, this is a gun nut. But yet his brother, his friends and neighbors said, no, he really wasn't a gun nut. Okay, if he wasn't a gun nut, does that point to MK Ultra? I believe it does. June 5th, 2017, Fiamma Awning Company shooting, Orange City, Florida. You might not have heard of some of these. John Robert Newman walked into the rear door of Fiamma, which makes awnings for RVs and campers, and opened fire, targeting 5 former coworkers. He was fired in April and stated that it was all his fault, never blaming anyone. He was honorably discharged from the U.S. Army in 1999, had a troubled childhood. He reloaded his semi-automatic handgun at least once during the shooting, and also had 2 knives, one of which was a large hunting blade. He committed suicide before the law enforcement arrived. No drugs were found in his system, but they did find alcohol. Now, is that an MK Ultra shooting? I'm going to say this one's kind of on the fence. Maybe yes, maybe no. It could be that he was scooped up off of the street and put through some kind of, and if you don't understand MK Ultra, again, you got to get the DVDs that we're offering today, because those will give you a lot of the answers. Vaccines, Mind Control, and the Mark, and Mind Controlled Gun Confiscation by Bill Sneblin. If you watch these 2 DVDs, you can talk to your friends intelligently about it. Right now, you can get both of them for a gift of $30. Besides that, it helps us to stay on the radio and continue to talk to you and bring this stuff to you. All right, now, in my opinion, this is kind of, maybe yes, maybe no. What do you think? Some segments say, well, maybe this was mind control, but he also was targeting 5 former coworkers. It could be he was just angry. So with this one, maybe not. Okay. June 12, 2016, the Pulse nightclub, Orlando, Florida. We all remember this one. This guy Mateen, 29-year-old security guard, American-born, parents were in Afghan, and he was raised Muslim. Okay. Now, in my opinion, I don't think it's necessarily Muslim. Yes, many of them are bad people, not all of them. And many of them are jihadis, again, not all of them. But he had talked about killing people and used slurs and had a lot of hatred for black women, people, Jews, Hispanics, and especially gay and lesbian people. He was not accepted as a Florida state trooper, but gained admission to the police academy. He held an active statewide firearms license and security officer license, had no criminal record, killed 49 people, injured 58. Mateen said shooting was triggered by U.S.-led bombing strike in Iraq that killed Abu Wahib. In this one, it doesn't make sense if he was trying to go into law enforcement that all of a sudden he turns around and becomes some kind of a wild-eyed shooter. In my opinion, this is probably MK Ultra. But again, what's your opinion on it? Let's go to another one. There's a lot of them, by the way. October 1, 2015. Christopher Sean Harper Mercer was enrolled at a school, Umbekwa Community College, Roseburg, Oregon. He fatally shot an assistant professor and 8 students, injured 7 to 9 more, and he forced a fellow student to sit at the back of the classroom and watch as he used 2 handguns to shoot others. This student was spared so he could deliver a package to the police. Now get this, he asked students about their religious affiliation before shooting them. Now in the case of Columbine, if these guys, they were asking, if you're a Christian, you're dead. If they said they're a Christian, they shot them dead. So that's a pretty good guess at what was actually going on, although the article did not give those details. He shot himself after being wounded by police. He did suffer from mental illness. Nothing in existing state law would have prohibited him from purchasing firearms. In 2017, Oregon law was passed to make it easier for law enforcement to take guns away from those suffering from mental illness. August 26, 2015, Allison Parker and Adam Ward Mergers. Vester Lee Flanagan, a.k.a. Bryce Williams, shot both reporters while doing a live interview. Now, this one to me kind of smacks heavy of MK Ultra, because what they're trying to do is get America to say, well, these are just out of control gun owners and we've got to repeal the Second Amendment. So how much better to make certain that everybody hears about it than to actually shoot people doing a live television interview at the time. So anyway, as Adam Ward's camera fell to the ground, it briefly captured the image of Flanagan holding a Glock 19 9mm pistol. Flanagan faxed the ABC News and phoned shortly afterward making a confession. Flanagan died of self-inflicted gunshot wound. See, they never go in. They never can talk to these people. And again, that's part of the frustration to the American people. We want to know why this guy did this. We want to know why the ballpark shooter. We want to know why in Las Vegas. We want to know why with Orlando. So when they don't get that answer, it tends to make people say, we got to just go get the guns. Then Grand 16 Theater, Lafayette, Louisiana, July 23, 2015. John Russell Hauser went to the theater alone, bought a ticket 10 minutes late into the movie, train wreck, and sat for several minutes in the second to last row, armed with a high-point model 40 caliber handgun and equipped with 2 10-round magazines, stood up and started shooting while walking down the steps. After the shooting, Hauser exited through a side door and blended in with the survivors. Upon noticing police sirens, he retreated back inside, fired 3 more shots, then committed suicide. He had a blood alcohol level of 0.1, was said to be bipolar, and was treated for mental illness. A LA state representative is planning on drafting a bill that would require all movie theaters to have metal detectors. You see, the people are trying to stop this stuff. So if this guy walks in with a metal weapon, they think, well, let's put up metal detectors. They're trying to stop it. But the ultimate objective, where they're really going, is they want to repeal the Second Amendment, and they want to collect all of our guns. Why do they want to collect all of our guns? So that then the American populace, the last bastion group of Christians on the world, on the earth, then can no longer defend themselves. They can take down America, and then they can have their new world order, their world government, and they can set their man, Antichrist, on the throne, and he can require all people to take the mark of the beast. That's the ultimate objective here. And if people don't understand that, and unfortunately, most people out there don't understand this because they don't know their Bible. They certainly don't know their prophecies. So they're walking blind and they're believing foolish things. Let's go on. July 16, 2015, military installations in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This guy, Muhammad Yosef Abadiz, is a natural American citizen born in Kuwait to Palestinian Jordanian parents. He had drug and alcohol problems and also abused sleeping pills, opioids, painkiller, and marijuana. Well, what they neglect to leave out is he was probably scooped up by the MK Ultra mind control team and probably put through. If you don't understand that, another thing is go watch the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson. Shows you a real good example of what they're talking about. So let's go on though. He received treatment, but also stopped taking his medication. Now, of course, the well-do folks that are trying to stop this say, well, we got to make sure people don't stop their medication. I mean, it's whatever they can do to stop it. But you see, there's not going to be anything out there that's going to stop it, because it's not a medication problem. It's not a crazy problem. It's an MK Ultra mind control team scooping people up, running them through this series of mind control exercises, we'll say, and getting them to go in and shoot and kill people. Again, the objective is to take away the guns, give us world government. Let's go on. After a drive-by shooting, he opened fire on 2 military installations, killing 4 Marines on the spot. He escapes and led police on a 6-mile pursuit. He was shot by responding police inside one of the buildings. The incident lasted over 30 minutes, and he used 100 rounds of ammunition. The Navy plans to station armed guards at all 70 reserve centers. See, every time they come up with some kind of a solution, we got to fix this. We got to stop this. We can't let this go on. Well, they're not going to be able to stop it until they take away the guns. That's where they want everyone to conclude. But the real answer is, where is the NSA on this? Because you know these guys are communicating on some form of communication between each other. And you know there's some people in high places within the NSA, where I don't know if it's the NSA. I should say high places. I'll say it that way. Yeah. Okay. They are being controlled by people in high places, telling the people on the street, the MK Ultra scoop up and run these people through this MK Ultra mind control program to get them to do this. If, in fact, I'm right, and I believe I'm right, if you get these 2 DVDs, you watch through them, you get yourself informed, then you'll probably be able to talk to your friends intelligently. Look, if you don't have the information, you can't really explain to people what's really going on. And if you can't explain it, then they think you're a nut. So you have to get yourself informed enough to where you can talk intelligently about this. And if you get these 2 DVDs and you watch them several times, then you know what you're talking about. You know far more than most of the people you talk with. And then you can talk to them and they don't make you look like you're a weirdo or something. Okay. I mean, like, when as I said many times, I play racquetball. Occasionally people will get into conversations with me. Well, as you can imagine, when one of them opens up a conversation or the situation falls to a conversation about something like this with me, because I'm informed, because I have to, because I do a radio program on it, it's like their eyes get big as silver dollars and I can back up what I'm talking about. Okay. They listen to me. Same thing for you, brothers and sisters. You've got to get yourself informed. You can't just go by what you hear on a radio program. You've got to take it the next step. You got to get the DVD. And I'm going to even say you can't even just watch it once. You got to watch it several times. You probably need to have pencil and piece of paper in your hand making notes and get yourself really informed on each of these topics. So when these topics come up at the water fountain, something like that, you can talk intelligently. Let's go on. May 23, 2014, Isla Vista Community University, Santa Barbara. Elliot Rodger killed 6 people, injuring 14 before killing himself. He has received psychiatric treatment and prescribed antipsychotic medication used to treat schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, but refused to take it. According to his mother, he was diagnosed as having Asperger's syndrome, but a formal medical diagnosis was not made. He emailed a 107,000-word manifesto to 34 individuals, including his therapist, outlining his intentions, which he originally sought to carry out on Halloween. And then, of course, there was a renewed call for gun control and improvements in the U.S. health care system. Now, you might be saying, well, this guy's some kind of a nutcase. We've got to make sure that the nutcases don't get the guns. Okay, so at what point do we stop taking guns away from people? You see where they're going. And in this case, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say, okay, maybe this is not MK Ultra, but maybe that's exactly what it is too. Fort Hood, probably all heard of this one. Killeen, Texas, April 2, 2014. Ivan Lopez went to the 49th Transportation Battalion Administrative Office to seek a 10-day leave for family matters, was told he would have to come back to retrieve it. Upon returning, he opened fire with a .45 caliber Smith & Wesson, killed 3 people, injured 14. It was later revealed that Lopez was in uniform but was not authorized to carry a concealed firearm. The motive for the shooting was determined that Lopez was distraught over financial issues, was receiving treatment for depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, was upset that his leave was denied, and committed suicide. Again, they always commit suicide. This one, okay, I'll give it benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say, okay, this one, maybe this is not MK Ultra. Maybe this is really a wacko. Maybe this is somebody that really got mad. But how come it doesn't happen in Mexico, in Canada, in Germany? Why is this only happening in America, you see? Let's go on. Then in the Naval Yard, Washington, D.C., September 16, 2013, Aaron Alexis, a Navy contractor and former Navy enlisted man, shot and killed 12 people. According to the FBI official, the shooting was under the belief that he was being controlled or influenced by extremely low-frequency electromagnetic waves. On August 23, 2013, Alexis showed up at a Providence, Rhode Island VA emergency room complaining of insomnia, and he was prescribed 50 milligrams of this other stuff. I can't even say the word. On August 28th, he sought treatment for insomnia in the emergency room, where the doctors said he was not depressed and was not thinking of harming himself. He was given 10 more tablets of this stuff. Alexis was killed by authorities. See what I'm saying? They never do get to the police. And as Bill Snevelin said that probably that's because they don't want them to unravel all of the MK Ultra programming and to discover that that's exactly what's happening, that these people are mesmerized or they're controlled, you see. Let's go on. Santa Monica College, California, June 7, 2013. Killing spree. Lone shooter. Santa Monica started with a domestic dispute, subsequent fire at a home, followed by a series of shootings near and on the campus. 6 people killed, including the suspect, 4 people injured in the incident. The shooter, 23-year-old John Zawahiri, was killed by police officers when he exchanged gunfire with them in the library. He was I'm skipping part of this, trying to get to the point here, was identified by officials as the shooter. He was armed with an AR-15 and a .44 and several other things here. That's another thing. They always have lots of guns. He was described as wearing black tactical clothing, body armor by his carjacking victim. Thought he was later determined the tactical vest did not contain any type of armor. He had 40 30-round magazines and pouches. See, I mean, you don't need that many guns. To me, when I hear lots and lots and lots of guns, that says MK Ultra, because you see they're trying to send a message to the American people that you got to get rid of the guns. The guns are the problem. The guns are the problem. I don't think so. The rampage allegedly started over an undetermined family dispute. Well, see, that's another part of the pattern. They don't really have a reason, and a lot of times they don't even know the people they're shooting. That's all part of the pattern. We have to do this in such a way to where the only fix that a person could conclude is you got to take away the guns. Let's skip on to the next one. A famous one, Sandy Hook Elementary School, Newtown, Connecticut. December 14th, 2012, 20-year-old Adam Lanza fatally shot 20 children between 6 and 7 years old, as well as 6 adult staff members. Prior to driving to the school, he shot and killed his mother at their Newtown home. As first responders arrived at the scene, Lanza committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. See what I'm saying? These people it's fitting the pattern. The incident was the deadliest mass shooting. Now, and see, that's another thing. Each time it's the deadliest mass shooting, but each time it gets worse and worse and worse. Okay, so now we just had Las Vegas, and it's the deadliest mass shooting. So what's going to be the next one in 2 or 3 months? How deadly and how big and massive is that going to be? Is it going to be the series of suitcase nukes? You see what I'm saying? Each time they keep increasing the number of people killed. And just like with the Republican ballpark shooting, well, it might not have been that many people killed, but these were supposed to be senators and congressmen, okay? These were supposed to be Republicans. These are the guys that keep the Second Amendment in place. If you want to repeal the Second Amendment, go shoot yourself a bunch of Republicans. Then the other Republicans are going to say, oh, well, this is it. This has finally crossed the line. We got to do something about this. We got to stop this. We got to repeal the Second Amendment. You see, that's where they're going. The incident was the deadliest mass shooting at either a high school or grade school in U.S. history, and the fourth deadliest mass shooting by a single person in U.S. history. The shooting prompted renewed debate about gun control in the United States. See, that happens every time. It's all part of the pattern, including proposals for making the background check system universal and for new federal and state gun legislation banning the sale and manufacture of certain types of automatic firearms and magazines with much more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Okay, now let me say this again. We are not, by our founding fathers, granted permission to keep and own firearms so that we can go deer hunting or rabbit hunting. The whole purpose is to see that evil people in high places cannot take our Christian nation away from us. And so, in my opinion, whatever the government has, whatever the evil people in high places have access to, whatever they can have people put their hands on, in my opinion, the people need to have something commensurate to stop it. Now, if the government has 100-round magazines, we need to be able to have 100-round magazines. If the government has 50 caliber, we should be able to have 50 caliber. If the government has automatic weapons that can fire 5,000 rounds a minute, we need to be able to have 5,000 round minute. Okay, in other words, whatever they have, we should be able to have access also. And I know you're saying, yeah, but that's crazy. Then they can really, really kill a lot of people. Well, again, that may be what it takes when they try to take over the nation. And here's another thing. You probably all seen the bumper sticker that says, "You can have my gun when you pry it out of my cold, dead hand." Well, there's people that are extremely evil in high places that would be happy to say, okay, all right, no problem. I've got people in the military. I've got people that, look, there's a lot of former military. There's a lot of people out there that will kill you just, for $10. A lot of them, you don't have to pay me. I'm happy to go kill. There's 4 reasons why people join the military. One is it's family trade. Okay. My dad did it. His granddad did it. Okay. Granddad did it. Okay. Some are just looking for a job, maybe even college. Some people honestly want to help our nation. But the 4th category is they're just looking for a legal means to kill people. And you don't even have to pay them. Well, as you can understand, evil people in high places can have access to these kind of people, and they can access those people and direct them. And a lot of times they wouldn't even have to do any mind control programming on them to get them to go out and kill people. So the point is, and I don't know, maybe even the next broadcast we'll talk about the same thing. I've got a lot more of this. There's a lot of examples, brothers and sisters. In my opinion, what they're trying to do is get the guns. If they can get the guns, they can take over our nation. Take over our nation, then they can have the world government. Get the world government, they can get the Antichrist, their man, to sit on the Ark of the Covenant, say he's God, require all people to take the mark, and then they can start lopping off the heads of the Christian. Brothers and sisters, we are in a war. We're in a battle. And that battle is fighting against evil. It's very important that you get these 2 DVDs and watch them so you can be informed when it comes up in your conversations to talk to people about what is really going on. The first one, vaccines, mind control, and the mark, and mind-controlled gun confiscation, both of them valued at $60, available now for a gift of just $30. It's the Bill Sneblin gift offer. Bill Sneblin gift offer at prophecyclub.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you, because it's your gifts of support, not ordering a DVD, that keeps us on the air. God bless.